Is Raila Odinga behind the coup in Ford, Kenya, where Moses Wetangula was kicked out as the party leader? Or has it just become fashionable to blame Raila Odinga for the problems in our political parties? Because let's face it, if you go to Jubilee Party today, the allies of the Deputy President William Ruto are blaming Raila Odinga for breaking up that party. You go to Wiper Party, the allies of Kalonzo Musyoka are accusing Raila Odinga of sponsoring Alfred Mutua, Charity Ngilu, and Professor Kivutha Kibwana. Those three governors are giving Kalonzo Musyoka problems. In Ukambani. You go even to ANC party. They were facing problems where Ososi was actually taking over that party. Again, they blamed Raila Odinga. So sometimes I was telling someone that Raila Odinga should actually be introduced in our syllabuses as a unit. But is Raila Odinga behind the problems in Fort Kenya? Let me take you to a post which was done by Martha Karua on her Twitter. Now, this is what Martha Karua posted. The ouster of Wetangula 2 days after a publicized meeting of Western Kenya elected leaders organized by a unionist widely seen as a government mouthpiece does not augur well for the rule of law and democracy. And he tagged State House, he tagged Raila Odinga, he tagged the Center for Multi-Party Democracy, Citizen TV, and NTV. And the comments there, people were actually asking Martha Karua why he was tagging Raila Odinga. And if you read the post by Martha Karua, she's actually blaming Francis Atwoli. But let us listen to the official response from ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi. Mudavadi is blaming two people. He's blaming Raila Odinga and he's also blaming Francis Atwoli. Let's listen to Musalia Mudavadi.
As ANC, denounce the infiltration of political parties through sponsored stooges. My attention has been drawn to the tragic mischief taking place in Ford Kenya Party. A caucus of sponsored quislings within Ford Kenya has held a kangaroo neck meeting at which they have presumed to carry out a palace coup d'etat in the party to remove Senator Moses Masika Wetangula from the position of Ford Kenya Party leader. They have further purported to replace him with a puppet party leader. The puppet is supposed to lead in holding capacity ahead of the puppeteers replacing him with. I am aware that this mischief has been in the making for some time now. It is calculated to invade and destabilize all independent-minded political parties. The mischief has been escalated at a number of meetings led by the leader of a NASA member party whose objective is to destroy and dominate everyone politically. In this, they are aided by the Secretary General of the Central Organization of Trade Unions, COTU. This ugly ploy...
Now, from that statement by Musalia Mudavadi, it is clear that Mudavadi is actually directly linking Raila Odinga and Francis Atwoli to the problems facing Ford Kenya. But is Raila Odinga behind the coup in Ford Kenya? And if Raila Odinga is behind that coup, why would he stage a coup in another political party? So today I want us to look at Raila Odinga factor and the coup in Ford Kenya. But before we do that, if you are bumping on this video for the first time, I want you to take a second or two and hit the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this one, you get notified. Now, back to the main issue. Is Raila Odinga behind the coup in Fort Kenya? And why would people even link Raila Odinga to that coup? Just like I said previously, that in politics, everything is normally done to achieve certain political objectives. There are no coincidences. Raila Odinga is being accused of the coup because... Now, back to the main issue. Why is Raila Odinga being accused of the coup? Sometimes this month, around mid of this month, Raila Odinga in his office was paid a visit by Eugene Wamalwa. And Eugene Wamalwa was accompanied to that office by a Selisimio and Wafula Wamunyinyi. For those who remember, Wafula Wamunyinyi is the one who took over from Moses Wetangula as the new Ford Kenya leader. So because of that meeting, Raila Odinga is being linked to that coup. But of course, you can't rule out anything. We are in politics. And we are advised in politics that if you get the opportunity to crush your enemy, crush them completely. Now let us go back so for us to understand why people are blaming Raila Odinga. In March of 2008, on 9th to be precise, Raila Odinga entered into handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta. And then after that handshake, on 15th, I think, was it 15th or around 18th there, the NASA senators wrote a letter to the speaker informing him of their decision to replace Moses Wetangula as the minority leader at the Senate. So Raila Odinga had just entered into handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta on 9th. On 15th, a week later, NASA senators notified the speaker that they wanted to replace Senator Wetangula. And on that afternoon, Senator Wetangula delivered a speech where he promised that it was going to be messy, noisy, and with casualties.
So I want to end here, Mr. Speaker, by telling my colleagues that I'm going nowhere, that I'm here, that I will be here, because I was not invited to join NASA. I am in NASA as a founder, and I founded code that transitioned to NASA, Mr. Speaker. And if anybody wants to play games, Mr. Speaker, anybody can play games. And many of us are good at this. And we have not come to this level of leadership because anybody has been pushing us. We have come to this level of leadership because of commitment, because of dedication. And Mr. Speaker, I represent people. Nobody can belittle me in this house. Nobody. And nobody has a right, Mr. Speaker, to play games behind my back. Nobody. Let them be frontal and we will fight mundu kumundu.
Order, Senator.
It's as simple as that, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator, okay.
Mr. Speaker, I take great exception to the conduct of my deputy and whoever chaired this meeting. Because, Mr. Speaker, I've been receiving phone calls, SMSs, threats, and so on and so forth. Mr. Speaker, I delivered a resounding vote to the leader of ODM. And this cannot be wished away. These games, Mr. Speaker, are totally unhelpful, and I want to repeat as I end. If anybody wants a divorce, it will be noisy, it will be messy, it will be unhelpful, and it will have casualties, Mr. Speaker.
Now, Moses Wetangula is a very good debater. Personally, is one guy I would always listen to whenever he takes to the floor of the Senate to listen to him. But he delivered that message. I think it was on 15th. Then on 20th, the NASA senators in the Senate kicked him out as the majority leader and replaced him with James Orengo. He could do nothing. And at that time, I was wondering, where was Raila Odinga? This was a NASA co-principal. And when I made inquiries, I was informed that indeed, Raila Odinga tried the much he could to defend Moses Wetangula. But the senators were not comfortable with his brand of leadership. They were accusing him of so many things. And he left and gone. So that's basically the genesis of the suspicion between Raila Odinga and Moses Wetangula. So when the coup was staged yesterday, people started linking Raila Odinga to that coup. Because Raila Odinga has made it very clear that NASA is dead. That's what Moses Wetangula wanted. Musalia Mudavadi has always maintained that NASA is not dead. But why would Raila Odinga interfere with the operations in Fort Kenya? Personally, I don't think Raila Odinga is actually behind the coup in Fort Kenya. The coup in Fort Kenya has everything to do with local politics in Western Kenya. There's a group of politicians from Western Kenya. And this group is led by Muhisa Kitui. This group is led by Eugene Wamalwa. And this group are keen on taking over Fort Kenya. Some of them believe that Moses Wetangula was not a founder of Fort Kenya. He just came into Fort Kenya later on. So they want to take over Fort Kenya. So probably they went to Raila Odinga because Raila Odinga has an experience on how to manage political parties. But assuming that's not the case, assuming Raila Odinga was behind this coup, why would Raila Odinga stage a coup against Wetangula? In my view, I can explain this using the scenarios. Number one is the Francis Atwoli factor. If you listened to the the Bungoma governor, Wycliffe Wangamati, who is one of the ringleaders of this coup, he was very clear on why they were staging that coup.
There's a lot of realignments that is happening at the national level. There's a lot of reorganization that is happening, political reorganization that is happening at the national level. We as a party for Kenya, we want to be part of that discussion that is happening at the national level. We as a party, we want to be part of the government in 2022. And that is why some of these decisions have been taken. That we don't want to be late, we don't want to be left behind. We want to be part of the government. And I want to say it very clear here that we are behind the handshake. We are behind the handshake of Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. We want to be part of that discussions, and I'm sure we have given the mandate to our new party leader that going forward, as the discussions and the conversation happen at the national level, that Fort Kenya is going to be part of that discussion.
So basically, there's a power vacuum in Western Kenya. And these guys are feeling that probably Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula are not doing enough to take the Western Kenya to the negotiating table. So Francis Atwoli took the leading role. And because Francis Atwoli is a close ally of Raila Odinga, or is doing whatever he's doing, people are perceiving him to be working for President Uhuru Kenyatta or Raila Odinga, which I don't think. In his own right, Ndugu Francis Atwoli is someone who is capable of bringing these leaders from Western together without being coerced or being told to do. He brought Musalia Mudavadi to NASA. Nobody told him. He just felt that this guy needed to be NASA. He's been telling Musalia Mudavadi to take over the leadership of Western Kenya. Musalia Mudavadi has always failed. He has been trying to bring Wetangula on board. Wetangula has always received. But because Atwoli feels that this government is going, the next government is going to go this direction, he's trying to build a team away from the other team, which can actually carry the aspiration of the Luhya community. I don't know whether that's going to succeed or not. The second reason why Raila Odinga is being accused is because of the handshake. When Raila Odinga entered into handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta, WETANGULA made a lot of noise. WETANGULA and Musalia Mudavadi believed that Raila Odinga ought to have entered into that negotiations with them, probably consult them before entering into that. The only person who read the signs so fast was Kalonzo Musyoka, who was the running mate to Raila Odinga. And from that time of that handshake up to now, the relationship between Raila Odinga and Moses Wetangula actually deteriorated. I'm not sure whether these guys have actually even met to discuss politics from that time of handshake. So because of this handshake thing, Wetangula and the team believes that Raila Odinga is the one who is engineering the removal. Number 3 is BBI politics. Kenyans are likely to go for a referendum. If you listened to Ndugu Francis Atuli's interview with Jeff Koinange, he was very clear on one thing, that we are going to have a referendum this year. That same stand is what Raila Odinga has been telling us. Apart from Raila Odinga, even James Orengo told us that we are going to have a referendum this year. And because a lot of interests are in that referendum, they must prepare a team. And from all indications, Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula were wanted actually to work outside the referendum. And they believe that referendum is actually a platform for Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta. So they've not been very clear on their support. And because of that, they strongly believe that Raila Odinga is crafting another team from Western Kenya, which will be in charge of the BBI campaigns in that region. And lastly, is the 2022 general election. If Musalia Mudavadi will be running, then definitely Raila Odinga will have to create another team, assuming Raila Odinga will also be running. And if Moses Wetangula will not be comfortable supporting Raila Odinga, or Raila Odinga is not comfortable supporting any other NASA leader again, is going to go to the ballot again, these guys are likely to oppose it. So it just makes sense for Raila Odinga to look for new alliances. And if that alliance will mean creating a new political party in Western Kenya, or even taking over an existing political parties, why not? That's what politics is all about. Moses Wetangula took over Fort Kenya from Musukari Kombo. There is nothing wrong with Wafula Wamunyinyi, who is just taking in the interim, waiting for either Mukisa Kitui, or is also waiting, apart from Mukisa Kitui, is waiting, I strongly believe, that the person whom they are pushing to take over this party is Eugene Wamalwa. So there's nothing wrong, as long as it's done within the constitution. Or if they can decide and form another political party. Nothing wrong. But because of 2022 politics, they believe it's Raila Odinga who is behind that. And that's why I'm saying, is it fashionable for Kenyans to blame Raila Odinga for any problems facing our political parties? Or is it Raila Odinga who is interfering with other political parties? I want to hear your comments on that. Kindly let me know whether you feel Raila Odinga's hand is right inside that coup, or it's just fashionable to blame Raila Odinga for problems facing other political parties. And if you're bumping on this video for the first time, please just hit the subscribe button now, so that next time we produce a video like this one, you'll get notified. And to the subscribers, I want to continue. Thank you guys. And I'm so happy that most of you guys are now sharing the videos. I can easily tell the number of shares has really improved. I want to thank you for sharing. I'm happy most of you guys are helping me create interactions by giving the video thumbs up or thumbs down, and also by dropping your comments. Thank you guys, and please, may you have a good day on this Madaraka Day. I'm actually waiting for the speech by the president, then I can dissect it. And we also know our Deputy President, William Samoei Ruto, is today at State House, gracing the occasion. So a lot of body language we are likely to read from that. Thank you guys, and please, may you have a good day.